In this video, I discover just how fast the Mercedes CLK actually is, and in the Nissan, I get sent to the Shadow Realm. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a Gran Turismo video where you can see I'm in the CLK LM. Now, the point of this video, if you haven't already guessed, is to try out all the non-Super GT 2016 cars to see why we never use them at all. And this is one car which is used sometimes, but in the grand scheme of it, it's mostly the Super GT cars. There are some exceptions because this car is ridiculously quick on the straights. It is absolutely rapid, as you're about to find out. So we'll leave that corner then. We're already catching up to CTK. And look at this. We are flying on by super duper quickly here as we head to Eau Rouge and Radion. Then through we go. Flat out in this as well, of course, because it's just downforce for days now in this game. You can just literally fly everywhere. As you can see, we're catching up to jazz it up very, very quickly. 6 temps, 5 temps, 4 temps the gap, 3 temps. Look at the speed difference. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Now, we did see some of this in the weekly race guide, of course, before a certain somebody decided to ruin that race in particular. So it's nice to actually jump back into this race as well and experience it as we see somebody bin it there into this. It's just touching the slippery stuff. There is Gizzy, and Gizzy is gone as we head towards the last chicane where everybody is absolutely everywhere. Then through the right we go. We have CTK behind us. Oh, we get a bit of oversteer here, but CTK sees us still there, gives us a bit of room. Brilliant racing there from CTK as we continue on out there. And we got side-by-side action up ahead between Predator and Jazz It Up. In towards La Source we go, and being in this sort of gap towards the cars up ahead does mean we're in a chance of overtaking them. We saw how much we're getting to jazz it up on the Kemmel Straight. This is before the Kemmel Straight. This is Eau Rouge and Radion here as we head up here. Through we go. We lift a little bit there. I don't think we had to be honest. We could have carried more speed there, but even so, we're going to have the advantage here speed-wise. Predator is... Oh, we just bump draft them a little bit here. Now we're going to look towards the right-hand side. We're going to make it 3 wide there, down the Kemmel Straight, headed towards the right-hander here. And Predator goes for it, jazz it up. Just miss-sees me there. Maybe doesn't realise I'm still there. But even so, it's all good here. We're still racing, jazz it up. Going to keep that position for now as we continue on out of there. However, I've got good acceleration looking down the inside, coming into this right-hander. Not going to quite work. The downforce of those Super GT 2016 cars really playing a factor here as we leave that corner into the left and fire it on out. So we advance to lap 3 then, where obviously Jazz It Up took the penalty, and we're looking to try and gain a few more positions now as we head onto the Kemmel Straight once again behind the Hungarian driver here who goes towards the right. That ain't going to stop me! And Predator defended towards the right as well. That ain't going to stop me either. Somebody was spinning there as well. So we gained 3 positions on the Kemmel Straight there. How about that, folks? 3 positions as we continue on through here. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to look at some of the faster laps that we do. Looking at how we race as well. Because, of course, having a little bit less downforce than the Super GT cars does actually mean we don't suffer from dirty air as much as those cars, you know, the 2016 cars. They are huge downforce, but huge dirty air problems as we go through the left-hander. You can see that behind. They're just struggling a little bit there through the corners because I'm right in front of them, meaning they get no air over that downforce and nullifying that advantage they have as we go into P1 then. A little bit of tap from behind. Nothing major. Predator's just misjudged that, obviously, because I have to go much slower than they do. As we head towards the right then into the braking zone we go then, just stopping the car nicely here through the right into that left-hander, clipping the curb as we leave that corner, avoid the slippy stuff and continue towards this right-hand then. So it's looking okay for us so far, looking okay. We're P8 at the moment as we continue through the right-hander. 1.8 on our time. That puts us in the 204s potentially there. In fact, it was a 204.8 there, so we're in the 204s, which is good. You know, you can see on the left-hand side past lap 204.5, so it's a good car to use this. You can definitely race the Super GT cars in this one just because of the difference here. As we look down the inside of Lone Scum, gives me room there, but they're going to keep that position for now. Let's see what else we can do on this lap. Try and get up into P7. Through the right we go. And we're actually going to advance further on here towards the exit of P1. Then we've got Predator back behind us then. In towards the right-hander. They're just catching up to us here as we're going to head to the left. They just show their nose. A little bit of a tap there. Maybe a bit of a misjudgment, but nothing major as we head towards this right-hander then. We're going to be side-by-side through here, but Predator around the outside. Beautiful little move there from Predator. Really good move there, so I have to lift too much there. I suffered from the dirty air this time. It's going to cost us a lot of time here. Down to half a second from Predator. Our acceleration now going to kick in as we start to get closer and closer. The question is, Can we overtake Predator before the chicane then? As we head there, Predator's obviously going to defend this towards the right-hand side. There you go. We're going to go towards the left-hand side. Going to try and break them. Can we do it here? Through there we go. Predator gives me just enough room here as we exit, but Predator's going to keep that. Good bit of racing there with Predator. Well played indeed. Now, but I enjoyed this car, and it's actually a car you can actually use against the GTR Nismos. Yes, you're going to struggle in parts on this circuit, but my word, is it fun to just overtake them at the speed of sound on the Kemmel Straight? It really is. And obviously towards Blanchimon and the final chicane. Right, we jumped in the McLaren F1 GTR race car next. Now, I don't see this used very often at all. Like, literally, must be the most unused Group 2 car. I'm going to put it out there that it is. But, hey, we'll see what happens in this race and see whether it's right that it's like that or whether it's wrong as we head towards turn 1. Then in towards the braking zone we go. Slowing down massively here through the right-hander. And we didn't catch up to CTK this time, so it shows that the speed is down on this car compared to that Mercedes CLK then. As, oh, a little bit clip of the barrier there as we head up to Rouge and Radeon. Through we go. And continue on above. Now, we do have a bit of an additional speed then. You can see that speed coming into play now with this slipstream. Oh, nearly a bit of contact there, but there wasn't. We're going to go towards the inside of the cream egg machine then. Down towards the right-hander once again. In towards the braking zone we go. They both try around the outside. It's not going to quite work for CTK at least. Oh, slight tap, but they were just recovering as well. It's all good there. Through the right we go, and we're just keeping P14 with a bit of a bump draft there from behind. So this car, not as fast as that Mercedes, but the question is it good in turns? Can it keep up with the Super GT car? That is the question. Through the left we go, fast forwarding here into Pouhon, and the cream egg machine is way off there. Oh, somebody else even further off there. They definitely met barrier there. Who's that? FFD Racing. So advancing towards the end of lap 1 then. We're back on the back of the cream egg actually. I do love a cream egg, by the way. We are approaching Easter, so I may tempt myself with 1 or 2. But I am on a diet, so I've got to be careful as we head towards the bus stop chicane then. We're going to try around the outside then in this car. And look at this, for a move and a half. We get it stopped. We slow it down on the apex and continue on out, so we gain a position. Now, one of the things with this car I found was that it had a lot more downforce. I was able to take corners a bit quicker than the Mercedes CLK. However, the problem was I didn't have the top speed that could necessarily give me that a bit of an advantage over the Super GT cars as we advance towards the end of lap 2 then. And the thing with this car is because it's not got that speed there, it's technically just a slower Super GT car. That's all it feels like as somebody just... it was algae there clipping the slippy stuff. We advanced lap 4. You see we're in the 206s. We can't get a 204 in this car. We definitely can't. Something definitely needs to be done to this car just to improve it in some way because it's just not there. It is not there compared to all the other cars. The 206 dead on the line there, and I think that lap was clear as well. So yeah, not the greatest car in the world, the McLaren F1 GTR race car. Definitely needs some improvement there in terms of Group 2. Not one you can really race the Super GT cars with because you are going to struggle. Now we jump in some of the 08 cars. Yes, these are technically Super GT cars, but they're classics. They're 08. They're over 10 years old. They're 15 years old, in fact, as we continue on through the left-hander then. And let's see what these cars are all about. Now, they're going to have a bit more top speed, of course, because they've got a bit less downforce. As we look, we can catch up to Buggy already, heading towards turn 1, just scaring him into going a little bit deep here. Through the right we go then. Going to beat it out of here as quick as possible. And we're already up 1 position in this Nissan then, the 08 car, as we continue to Eau Rouge and Radeon. We've got Spoghead up ahead then. So through the right we go, up the top of the hill. And what kind of speed do we have here? We are catching Spoghead. So this is the same sort of speed the McLaren F1 had in sense. In fact, we're going quicker than that car. So you can see here, this car definitely has an advantage over that car. Then in towards the right-hander we go, looking at the inside of Spoghead. Well, not quite there, not quite there. But we do have some speed in this car, which is good to see. Potentially we can have some good racing here as we go through the right-hander and continue towards the downhill right-hander. There's one that we all struggle with in slightly less downforce cars like Group 4 and Group 3. Anyway, through the right we go. Spoghead getting a bit wrong. Oh, somebody's off there. My word. I don't know how they ended up over there, but they certainly did. As we continue on out of there and up into P13 then. As we head to Pouhon then. And we're going to have to brake for this. Obviously, in the car ahead, you do not have to brake for this car. Oh, Spoghead's off. Spoghead's going to have dirty tyres here. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go down the left. I know you're going to try and outbrake me here. So I'm going to try and come back for a nice little cutback. Here we go then. Beautiful stuff then. In towards the left. But they lose control and send me off to the realms. I can tell you now, I was not very happy with that at all. And I struggled to get back on at this point because I've got dirty tyres, damage and everything else. Yeah, not the greatest of situations. I would have hoped that they would have waited for me, but they didn't, even though it was their mistake. So, yeah, it is what it is. Now we've got Willie. Willie's off. Willie's is off. Oh, my word. He's having a right Barney there. Willie's off with 3 seconds of penalties as well. Make sure yours doesn't get 3 seconds of penalty. That is for sure. I need a Manscaped down here. Come on, Manscaped, sponsor the channel. You know it's the perfect time. And we're going to continue on towards the right-hander then. Through we go up into P15. We're not last, even after that absolute bit and a half. Actually, with the rest of the pack here, so this car does have some pace. 205.5 down the right-hand side. You can see that. Definitely got a chance of a low 205 here as we got penalty there. So getting more spots here as we venture towards the final lap, and it's like start lap 1 again. We got Buggy and Spoghead ahead of us here. Once again, I'm just going to look down the inside of here of Buggy to scare them a little bit, hopefully, but not as much this time. Through the right we go, and it's status quo for now, although I am very, very, very close to Buggy. So I'm going to try something I don't normally try very often, and that's a 2 wide Eau Rouge and Radion. I really should give this up, to be honest with you, but going through the here, just slight tap, nothing major here, but I'm going to just take the cut there, because when there's contact, you shouldn't get a penalty. Do I get a penalty? No, I do not. I do have dirty tyres though, so I do have to keep that in mind. 205.6 and lap 3. So you can see there, we have some pace, definitely faster than that McLaren. Maybe not as fast as I'm going to say. Oh, hello. That Lexus not Lexus, the Spoghead goes deep there. Another slight tap there. Bit frustrating there as we go through the right-hander. Gonna advance a bit further on here, and let's see what happens at Pouan then with Spoghead. In towards the left we go. And they're just going to get all sorts wrong. Onto the slippy stuff. Try and catch it. And off to the realms of Narnia there. As we advance towards the end then. So you see 205s. I think the low 205 is definitely possible in this car. Just, it can sort of race with the GT500. It's just not quite there. The 16 car, that is. It's just a little bit off pace. So you can have some racing, but you're going to struggle in some aspects. Right, we go to the NSX now. Now, this car, MR car, of course. And I've got one significant factor with MR cars here, which we'll talk about shortly. We're going through the left then. Here we go, the start of the race. We get a really, really, really good start here. We're really close to Zeta straight off the bat then as we head towards turn 1. Looking down the inside then, in towards the braking zone we go. Just showing our nose here. And they give me just enough room there as we continue on out. So obviously, I'm going to have a bit more acceleration. Being the older car, they do have this. So obviously, a little bit less downforce then. And as we're getting ahead here, we're going to try once again to make the move done here as we go through the right. There's a little bit of contact there. Nothing major. We continue on through. I left enough space there because it was side by side through there. And Jetta keeps it for now with that more downforce. However, I have the speed as we go on by here. 176, 177 miles an hour in towards the braking zone we go. Job done up into P14. Some beautiful racing there with Zeta, or Zeta, however you pronounce that. It really was through Origin Radion 2 wide there. It was good. Now, in the distance here, I spot a lot of carnage going on. Cars absolutely everywhere. There's 2 off there. And I have no idea if anybody else was involved. But hey, we'll take that. 2 positions in one corner. And you just saw it there. The problem with MR cars at Spa. The rear end goes at the chicane. It's a really annoying problem with weight transfer in this game. And then downforce as well playing a factor. But yeah, it's just, there's no downforce there. Spoghead goes off then. We're going to go around the outside of Spoghead. And we're up into P11 then. Now, Spoghead did actually say in the previous race he needed more practice. But if you need more practice, don't join the race. Now, in this situation, you probably have practice there and got a bit more up to speed, which is fine. But in the previous race, if you hit somebody off, you're wasting their time as well. As we get a huge launch on the Lexus then. Up into P10 we go. Yeah, gaining positions here. Looking to catch up to Daz. So on the 269 then on the right-hand side. Just not the greatest at the moment, but we have been involved in a lot of racing action. As we go through this right-hander, we're actually going to advance a bit further on then towards the final lap. 205.5s there, very much in the similar ballpark to the Nissan in the same year. However, the MR cars do struggle with that chicane, so I was a bit more all over the place. Probably could do a bit more speed than that Nissan, just to, you know, put it into a bit more of a decent playing field. We jump to the Lexus now, the final car to test. Obviously, the 2 other cars are the 2016 cars, and we know they're good. We know where they are roughly in terms of comparing to the Nissan up ahead. And we see Paul GT3. I have seen your comment, Paul. I'm going to reply soon. However, I go down the inside there. I thought there was enough of a gap. I thought Paul was moving over. It wasn't. My mistake, which is why I backed off. And we continue on. I did apologise at the end of the race as well for that. It was my mistake. We're going to boot out of here very quickly. Going to go down the inside then of that Nissan. Get it done nice and early here. As we've got an accident here on this straight. You don't see that very often. as we've got Senna off there, but we're going to risk the ghost end, go through here, up at the top of the hill, and we're going to look to try and catch up to the next cars very quickly in towards the braking zone we go. Now, this Lexus drives very similar to the Nissan, okay? Very, very similar. It feels very nice indeed. It feels like it's got a bit more understeer, but it feels really safe. Very safe car to drive as GR.7 then. Looking to go defensive then, as we're going to try around the outside on this right-hander. Very hard to do with a car that has far more downforce than this car. As you can see there, they do defend that very nicely indeed in towards the left. Now, Ra in Egyptian times means sun god, isn't it? It's a sun god, Ra. Let's see if they are a god here in terms of driving then, as they go up the inside of Josh. Josh then a little tap back. Oh, hello. Who are you? Where are you going? Bye-bye, Sween. I have no idea where you're going, but the track goes this way as we advance towards the end of the lap then. These two still fighting. I did look down the inside, but I backed out of that because I suspected Ra was concentrating so much on Josh that there would have been contact there and a spin. So, you know, we'll leave it for now. We'll get in the fight in a second. In towards the braking zone we go. They're still side by side, these two. And we're looking for a good run out of here. We boost it as quick as we can, and we do indeed get that run. So we're going to go towards that left-hand side. So Ra goes towards that left. I'm like, okay, well, I'll go towards the right then. And obviously, we're going to have a huge advantage here as we head to Eau Rouge and Radion. So in we go here. And we were just ahead here, and then Netco sort of tapped us a little bit. I did have a look at this again, and that's what happened. We were just ahead there. But even so, we all made it through, so it's safe and sound. And now we've got the run on Josh, and you can see the speed here. Look at that, nearly hitting 180 miles an hour. Do we quite do it? No, we don't. Staying at 179 then. Up into P11. P11 for this car, as those two now going to go hammer and tongs behind. Let's just wave to them. Bye! We're going to carry on towards the next target, which is Daz then. Through there we go. Look, in the 205s with some racing in there as well in this car. This car, I like this car. I like this car a lot. I think a lot of people underestimate this car. So I'm telling you now, if you want to use something different to that Nissan, try this one out, as you will see later on. So we're nearly second up on the fastest lap at the moment as we go through the left and then in to the right then and continue on through. We've got a pink car, very pink car. It reminded me actually of the Flawless livery back in the day in GT Sport. But yeah, they disappear because they had a penalty. And we've got the cleanest guy in GT up ahead. But one thing I want you to look at, rather than the GTR ahead, in fact, just look at them briefly as they just nearly go off there, is look on either the left or the right hand side. We have the purple fastest lap. That's right, 204.7. There's definitely a bit more time in this car as well, so you can definitely get in the low 204s. Now, don't get me wrong, a little bit of slipstream was in that lap as well, but even so, the race pace of this car is unbelievable and very good. So he's in fact probably the strongest or second strongest car, you know, tying with that CLK LM there, but nobody's really using this car. So try it, give it a whirl, see what you can do with this car and the Mercedes. The other cars, they need a bit more work, PD. Please do a bit more work on them indeed. But that is it for this video. Trying out some of the alternative cars in the Group 2. Group 2 definitely needs some work. There's definitely problems there. But as I say, that is it for me. Do give it a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. But that's it for me, folks. Au revoir, farewell, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.